Joining us now to talk about that and what it could mean for business and investors, John Hope Bryant, Operation Hope founder and CEO, and investor and venture capitalist Kevin O'Leary. John, good morning. In the past, one of the things that you say that I always nod to, because no one would disagree, you always say that what we want the government to do is give people a hand up, not a handout. The New York Times referred to this on a front page piece, this $3.5 trillion bill, as cradle to grave entitlement, basically. Do you consider that to be a hand up or a handout? Does this pass muster with what you think we need to do for a software upgrade for capitalism?
Well, first of all, good morning. What you just said might be relevant if we weren't at war. If we weren't dealing with, my wife says we're chasing a ghost called, that wants to kill you, COVID. We weren't dealing with historic infrastructure that puts us 13th in the world, Joe, 13th in infrastructure in the world. So engineers say that it's going to cost the average American $3,600 a year, the crumbling infrastructure, starting right now. And meanwhile, Warren Buffett says he pays more taxes than his secretary. And even Amazon CEO saying, okay, me paying no taxes is ridiculous. We got to decide, Joe, whether we want to be Netflix or we want to be a Blockbuster. Blockbuster said we're cool with what we have. Everybody loves videos. We got a market. We're growing. Everybody loves us on Friday night. Well, and then Netflix clean their clock. So I think we need to make the investment, Joe. Whether it's
John, philosophically, we need to decide whether we're what we used to think of as sort of the entrepreneurial, individualistic aspects of our economy. I'm going to read something to you, Kevin. I've read this a lot, and people are tired of it. The Democrats out there I drive them nuts. Some of them, if they're far left. Who said this? We should have a goal of common prosperity, calling for a more equal distribution of wealth, achieved through more government intervention in the economy and more steps to get the rich to share in the fruits of their success. Now, we know about the seismic shifts in China. That's President Xi talking about how they want to shift the economy in China, but it's verbatim what I hear from Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, AOC, et cetera. Is that where we want to head? There's no downside to cradle to grave entitlement state?
Let me say
there's lots of downside. There's lots of downside. And, the best way to look at this is try and take the political rhetoric out of it and think about the competition between nations. The majority of the global economy is captured with the G20. And so we should compare ourselves in terms of our competitiveness with the G20. We are competing with the G20. There's no way around that. So currently, it doesn't matter which administration did that. It's policy that matters. We're in the middle on taxation, right in the middle of the G20. Biden's proposal to pay for this $3 trillion package, this social spend, takes the United States to the top of the list in terms of taxation. So all of a sudden, our competitiveness and our ability to compete with other countries, because you've got to remember, capital has no political bias. It has no nationality. It goes to the path of least resistance, always has, always will. So taking the United States to the top of the tax list corporately is probably not a great idea. But what's extraordinary about this time in history, and you can find examples of countries like the Nordic countries or the Swiss, for example, where they basically raise personal taxes, but not corporate. You will not find anywhere a country that raised personal taxes and corporate taxes to the highest levels globally ever. That's never been done. And we've also never been able to find any country, including the U.S., that's ever spent $3.5 trillion on social programs. There's a certain madness to that, a certain insanity to it, because you can't find one case study anywhere in history. You can go back to the times of the British raised taxes to 92% in the 60s, where they had a mass exodus of people. And at the same time, we're proposing that now. That's a little crazy. So pick one, either raise corporate taxes or personal, but you can't do both. You will put a place in history in the United States where people in New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, California are the highest taxed people in the world. At the same time, the companies that operate in those states will be paying the highest taxes in the world. That's just insane. That's completely insane. And I doubt it's going to happen. Somebody in there in the political fray is going to say, wait a second, what are we doing to ourselves? This is madness.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.